100 Thieves versus Riot Games 2021. Where were you when it all went down? What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video, and in this video we got something a little bit different. All hell broke loose between 100 Thieves and Riot Games, with Riot Games actually penalizing 100 Thieves, slapping them with the fine, putting their head coach on probation. And yeah, you might have thought that 100 Thieves was just gonna lie down and take it, but no, they clapped back with receipts, and we gotta break it all down in this video, and then you're gonna decide who's in the right and wrong in this scenario. But go to the GameLeap.com website in the links down below for high quality advanced guides. We got everything that you need if you really want to climb to Immortal and beyond. You are dead set on improving yourself, then you got to go check it out in the links down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So we're going to start this story off from the beginning, and we're going to start it with a tweet by Jake Lucky stating 100 Thieves has been fined $5,000 in Valorant after delaying the start of their match against Immortals in VCT Masters. Their coach Frost is now on probation for threatening to leverage players and team social media presence against Riot if they were DQ'd more soon. Now, to understand the situation more, let's dive into the statement that Riot released themselves. And basically, after a 1-hour delay between the match between 100 Thieves and Immortals in the upper bracket Masters quarterfinal, there was a big discrepancy about what server the match should be played on, led by 100 Thieves head coach Frost. Now, Riot had this to say about the situation. When reminded that failing to start the game pursuant to the tournament official's decision can result in disqualification, Frost threatened to leverage players' social media platforms against the tournament organizers and Riot Games as a response. Now, basically, because of the delay, Riot issued a $5,000 fine to 100 Thieves for causing the delay, and Frost was placed on a probation for the remainder of VCT 2021 for unprofessional behavior towards the tournament organizer. Now, there's multiple things that we got to break down here and some things that we got to clarify before we move on. So basically, the context, from what I understand it, there was a match between Immortals and 100 Thieves, and while everyone on 100 Thieves had around 20 to 40 ping, there was one player on the Immortal roster that had a single-digit ping, and 100 Thieves and the head coach and the team themselves thought that this was unfair. There was another server that they could play on where everyone had between 50 and 70 plus ping, and it was a lot more balanced, a lot less difference in the ping, so it would be a lot more fair overall in their mind. However, the tournament organizer said that 70 plus ping is unplayable, and 100 Thieves got mad because it was inconsistent with Riot's rulings against 100 Thieves from the week before. Now, first off, you gotta understand that having extremely low ping and having extremely high ping matter a lot when you're talking about pro play. When you have really low ping, you have a huge advantage, and if you have high ping, the higher you get, even if it's just by tens, you are really putting yourself at a larger and larger disadvantage. So I do understand the argument here, but I also understand the argument from the tournament organizers stating that 70 plus ping might be too high to actually have a competitive tournament on, and they would much rather have a lesser ping, even if one person had an unfair advantage, even if it went against their previous ruling. And consistency is gonna be a problem when you're talking about the early tournaments in Valorant, and that's something that Riot definitely needs to work on. However, the big concerning thing that we have to talk about is the claim that Frost threatened to leverage players' social media platforms against the tournament organizers and Riot Games as a response. This looks really bad on the head coach Frost, because it shows him like some guy that is just trying to use social media to control Riot. And of course, on top of that, they said that he was overly toxic or overly offensive or simply unprofessional against some of the tournament organizers, and these were all the reasons why he got put on probation. Well, that being said, 100 Thieves didn't take this laying down. They 100% disagreed with the ruling here, stating that Frost told the tournament organizers, quote, "If you DC us, you are in a bigger shitstorm than we are," but they never threatened to leverage social media, as was stated by Riot. This was much more referring to the fact that it was a really bad decision and that the general public would think really poorly on Riot, not that he was going to incorporate some sort of like mob of social media followers or anything like that. And that Coach Frost was just arguing for the competitive integrity of the tournament, and he felt that he was being unreasonably shut down by the tournament organizers. Now, on top of that, 100 Thieves didn't just contradict them with a statement. They released a 4-minute video, which I'm going to play a clip from here, that kind of showcases some of what I'm talking about. The person talking in question is Coach Frost, head coach Frost of the 100 Thieves. Roll it.
Yeah. So like, let's just wait. Why are they not just talking?
There now.
Oh, okay.
But it has to apply in the exact same way, Joseph. You can't just arbitrarily change the rules. And if you're going to do that, then we can fight back by just literally not playing. And if you DC against us, or if you give us a DC, you're in a bigger shitstorm than we are. The fact of the matter is, you made a decision in the ruling for TSM, and now that for TSM is being changed arbitrarily. You can't just say the ping difference is a moot point if it's 0.3 as opposed to what, 3.1 like last time? Because in networking, 3.1 doesn't mean anything either.
Now, before we move on, I don't know that much about Coach Frost. I really know very, very little about him at all. But when you have a coach that fights so hard for the fairness of their players, I really got to put my respect in the ring for someone like that. Even if he's right or wrong, which we're going to talk about in a second, I do highly respect people that support their team, because there are some coaches, some managers that will just bow down to someone like Riot Games, even if it costs their players some bit of unfairness, and I do respect that 100%, and I think most of us probably should. That being said, this really goes against this entire video, which I only took a tiny clip from. You can watch the entire thing on Reddit or various other places if you want to know the full story. Remember, it's only 4 minutes of the entire potential conversation, so it could be clipped out of context in some ways. However, there was no statement here stating that Frost was going to quote-unquote leverage social media against Riot Games, and in this clip, it does not show that at all. So if Riot Games thinks that, quote, if you DC us, you're in a bigger shitstorm than we are, equals leveraging social media, in my mind, 100% Riot Games is in the wrong. Now, that's what I thought, at least to this point. However, Riot responded in another big article stating, edit, 6:30 p.m. 3 independent witnesses provided testimony that Frost made a statement to this effect, talking about the idea of using the social media platform of the players and the coaches and the 100 Thieves as a whole to really put a lot of pressure on Riot. When asked directly about it in an interview by Riot League operations personnel, Frost admitted that he made this statement, although 100 Thieves provided Riot with a clip showing Frost's side of the conversation that doesn't include this statement. They declined to provide the full video to Riot. Now, oh my god, this is a freaking shit show at this point, boys. So to quickly summarize the timeline, first, Riot Games gave a $5,000 fine to 100 Thieves for delaying the tournament and gave a probation to the head coach Frost for apparently trying to use the social media followers of 100 Thieves as a whole to leverage against Riot Games as a sort of threat. And he was also unprofessional, quote unquote. Then 100 Thieves clapped back, denying this entire thing and providing a clip that also shed some light on some insight into the conversation that kind of showed them in the proper light, saying that it was actually just a misunderstanding from the tournament organizer's point of view, and there was no threat involved, just a passionate coach trying to defend his team and maintain a certain amount of professional integrity and consistency throughout the tournaments as to now, and that's all that happened. And of course, that would make Riot Games look extremely bad because it looks like they tried to give someone probation, find someone that was not only unfair, but actually accuse a coach for trying to leverage something that is really serious that puts him in a very bad light and puts 100 Thieves in a very bad light altogether. Now, Riot Games responds stating that clip was out of context. It's not the actual incident that they're talking about. And of course, 100 Thieves declines to give the entire clip. So it's looking really weird right now. We don't really know who's telling the truth. It's a lot of he said, she said bullshit. And I have no idea who's right or wrong because there could be some other clip where, you know, Coach Frost and 100 Thieves actually did this thing. But we don't have proof. We don't have the full audio because only 100 Thieves has it. But they don't want to release it yet for that reason, although they might release it in the future. And Riot Games said that 3 people heard him say this type of thing, so it's kind of really a wash here. And the thing is, a lot of you might be saying, hey, why the hell does this matter? It's only a $5,000 fine and some probation. He's not permabanned and this might not matter. Well, for one, probation can easily lead to giant bans for the coach, which is a linchpin of their team. That's the first thing. And second, this might seem small now, but it's only a matter of time until these things become big later on as the Valorant scene grows, and it's really important for orgs to put their foot down when they think they're being wronged, because if they don't, then Riot Games will basically just get to completely have their way with them non-stop. I mean, if I'm being serious, and these type of fights are actually guaranteed to happen at some point. I'm just surprised it happened so soon, but it seems pretty interesting to say the least. Now, honestly, for the rest of us regular people, this is just for fun, right? We don't really give a shit. But whose side are you on? Are you on 100 Thieves or are you on Riot Games? Definitely let me know what side you're simping for in the comments down below. Smash the like and subscribe. And if you want to improve at Valorant, go check it out in the links down below for high quality advanced guides, tips and tricks, VOD reviews. We got everything that you possibly need on the GameLeap website in the links down below. But thank you so much for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the video. Send feet pics. I love your faces. I'll see you tomorrow.